everyone. This is Wayne Rivers at FBI, where we build better contractors. This week I have some thoughts on time. Moreno Zugaro wrote an article in January of 23 in Medium. I guess it's a website, Medium. And he talked about, at his current age, he reflected about how he had spent some of his time as a younger person. He said that he'd spent 20,000 hours playing video games and socializing with his friends. And he asked the question, I wonder where I would be right now if I'd used just 10% of that time productively. And that really struck me because I think one of the greatest pains that we feel in life is the pain of regret. When we look back of something that we did or didn't do, and just you have this heart-wrenching pain that you could have done something better, you could have made a difference, you could have chosen an alternative path. So he had 5 unique views about time that I thought were really interesting, so I want to share those with you. The first thing is that he says that time issues are never about time, they're about priorities. When people say, I don't have time, he says that's bogus. It's all about where you put your priorities. If you live to age 80, you've lived 70,000 hours. Think about that, 70,000 hours. It seems like we ought to be able to crowd in the important things in life into 70,000 hours, doesn't it? We have 168 hours a week, right? And if you think back to the Neil Pasricha book, a third of those are spent at work, a third of those are spent asleep, and then a third, that's where you live the rest of your life. And it just seems like the idea that I don't have time means I'm not setting priorities the way I think I should probably set my priorities. The second thing is you've got to value your time. Other people value your time as much as you do. So if they see you dithering your time away on foolish things like video games, as Moreno talks about, then they're going to associate that with the fact that you don't value your own time. So I have a great story about that. I have a friend that sold his company for millions and millions of dollars before the age of 40. And everybody associates that with genius. He's just a hardworking, innovative guy. He started another company now. But people always wanted to take him to lunch and pick his brain about this or that. And he just found that was crowding out other important things that he wanted to do in life. And so he said, sure, I'll go to lunch with you, $200, and you pick up lunch. Well, nobody wanted to pay $200. But what he was teaching those people is he valued his time. And by gosh, if I value my time, then you're going to value it too. And I think it was a perfectly clear message. Some people think he was a jerk for doing that. They were offended. But why would they be? He's simply sending a loud and clear signal. This is what my time is worth, and you're going to have to pay for it. The third thing is, he says there's no waiting. I'm the worst. I'm so impatient. And when I have to wait in line, I'm just pulling my hair out. It's terrible. But he says, you've got to live in the moment. You've got to look around and experience things. And this impatience and this, hurry up stuff that we sort of impress on ourselves is a big waste of time. Don't wait in line. Don't wait in traffic. Experience things. And so now with technology, we can listen to podcasts in the car. I tend to take books and magazines around with me when I know I'm going to have to wait in line or I'm going to eat lunch by myself, and that I can get some reading done during that period of time, and it's not just staring up at the ceiling gumming down my sandwich. The fourth thing is the biggest waste of time is doing things that don't need doing at all. And he talked about the definition of the word priority. It came from Latin prioritas, which meant first in rank, order, or dignity. Priority was always singular. It was never considered a plural until the 1940s when American corporate time management experts turned it into a plural. All those centuries, priority stood for one thing. And now, just in the last 100 years or so, now you can have multiple priorities. You've got to focus on the things that are really important. We talked about Dwight Eisenhower and Stephen Covey's model for determining what's urgent and important. You've got to choose the things that have the highest impact. I was writing something the other day about HABU, your highest and best use. The more time you can spend at work, taking advantage of your highest and best use, the more productive you're going to be, the more productive the other people around you are going to be, and the happier you're going to be. And the fifth thing is, When we think about paying for things, don't think about paying for things in the context of money. Think about paying for things in the context of time. If I want to buy a new pickup truck, and I read now that you can spend 6 figures on a pickup truck. If I'm going to spend 100 grand on a pickup truck, how much time did it take me to earn that $100,000? So let's say it took me 6 months. Is that pickup truck worth 6 months of my time? Really? You've got to think about time. We talked about the book ages ago. One of my all-time best business book recommendations, Time Really Is Money by Rob Slee, S-L-E-E. Time really is money. And he makes the case in that book quite compellingly that there is an actual direct correlation. And if you spend your time doing $15 an hour jobs versus $5,000 an hour jobs, guess what? Your company's going to stay here, you're going to stay here, you're not going to be able to get to that next level. So don't think about paying with money, think about paying with time. He wrote at the end of his article, "Today will leave the world and never come back. Don't waste it." And if you think about what your life consists of, it's the moment-to-moment things that we do. We only have these seconds, these fleeting seconds and hours. And if we choose to do X, that means we are not doing Y. So find a way that you can spend more time doing the things you love to do the most, the things that give you energy, how you can spend time in your highest and best use. And as a result, we'll all be happier. Let's have some comments from you. This is Wayne Rivers at FBI, where we build better contractors.